Welcome, everybody. Good evening. I am Kevin Vacna. Tonight, we're going to be talking technophobia in film with 1993's film Jurassic Park. Let's see. Okay. I showed you this earlier. Here's what we're going to be talking about, some of the ideas. I'm interested in technology, technophobia, as the title says, but totally feel free, bring your ideas to the table. One of the questions I'm going to use to guide a lot of our discussions this evening is, what does Jurassic Park tell us about film, culture, and technology? This is a discussion class. Student participation is totally encouraged. It's a little hard to sometimes see. Sometimes we cut each other off. We can raise our hands, or we can try to make eye contact with each other and be like, I'm going to say something. And if we step on each other's feet, we just take a turn, be polite. I don't know. I think, like I said earlier, we're all adults.
Except for
No, that was the joke. That was the joke, yeah. My dad said if you have to explain why the joke's funny, it's not funny.
I thought it was funny.
Thank you, miss. Okay, so a little about myself. My name, again, I've been teaching for 10 years. Currently, I'm teaching in New York City, high school English, 11th grade. I love teaching. I really like it. I enjoy it, my job. I live in Mamaroneck, made of movies. I really enjoy a good flick. I really enjoy a bad flick. Totally addicted to technology. I'm aware of it, too, and that's the troubling part of the situation. And I see, on the subway, everyone's just this. I'm like, oh, no. So that kind of spurs a lot of my thinking, my starting point with this film and a lot of other films. Oh, yeah, I love Jurassic Park. This is me as a child. I don't know who those other people are. And this is me as a bigger child.
And Ryan has that shirt now.
Yes.
So we should have worn it.
That would have been a good choice. It would have been very meta, also.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me set the scene for us as we start our conversations. It's 1993. Bill Clinton is president. Whitney Houston is singing "I Will Always Love You." Phone booths, which you guys probably don't know about, were in a lot of places. People used quarters to use them. In science, scientists published the first draft of the human genome, and two American scientists successfully cloned the first human embryo. It was quite the eventful year, and it was really just getting started. And then in March of 1993, Steven Spielberg's new film, first trailer came out. And that film was Jurassic Park. So let's take a look just to remind some of us who maybe haven't seen it, didn't do their homework. I don't know what happened before. Apologize. I felt like Dr. Grant. What did I touch? I swear I didn't touch anything on this. I don't know why the screen's changed. Little things about the film. I'm sure we all know, because I don't think you came here without knowing this stuff. But Spielberg, 1993, star-studded cast, huge budget, huge early. That's what you guys say now. Successful, over $1 billion grossed, in part to the acting, the directing, the script, the use of CGI, and the animatronics. Won 3 Oscars that year. Does anyone know, extra credit, what film by Spielberg won Best Picture? Let's see. Take it. Let's take it away.
I have no idea.
Oh. But I believe you know it. I saw this young lady first.
Schindler's List?
Schindler's List is correct.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, but I mean, really shows Spielberg's depth of craft. Both these films came out that year, both hugely different, but also great art in different ways. Jurassic Park, let's open it up. What do you guys feel the first time you remember, the first time you experienced it? Yes, and if you'd like to say your name, introduce yourself,
Well, I'm Aiden.
Hi, Aiden.
I always thought it like some people, like my dad, when he first saw it, he was scared out of his mind because like it was groundbreaking for the time, with all the animatronics and everything. But when I saw it, when I was like 5 or 6, and I saw it and I laughed because I thought that it was so funny because right before that it was like a sick day one time when I was like sick and we were just watching movies on the couch. I had watched the original Star Wars right before that, and I had remembered that both of the fat guys died. And I was so confused. Why do they always kill the fat guys?
That's a good point. It's a very good point. Hollywood is trying to tell us something.
Exactly.
They are punishing obesity, being a lawyer, right? Being a lawyer. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Dennis died in Jurassic Park.
Spoilers, everyone.
Barely.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're so good.
What fat guy died in Star Wars? I did
It was one of the pilots.
Porkins.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Love it? Hate it? You thought it was the greatest thing ever? You were like, dinosaurs?
Made me terrified of dinosaurs.
Terrified? Fear?
I gave my
Love
sis-
dinosaurs.
Love
I
dinosaurs.
gave my sister 9 nightmares. But this is probably one of my favorite films of all time.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that, but because I got a list. But this was, this was it for me. It was great.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, I actually have a confession to make. The first Jurassic Park movie I saw was the third one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, we should all have apologize. It's 90 minutes of screaming.
Yeah.
Personally, I like this one. It really set the tone for what a great dinosaur movie should be, and it was up against some so-so competition, I believe, in the same year.
Yeah. Is anybody examples? Can you think of one?
Some knockoff Roger Corman film.
Oh, wow.
So, like I said, it's so.
Was it Carnosaur?
competition. Yeah, Carnosaur, and God forbid the. Sorry,
Please.
I know I'm not coming up with very good examples,
Yeah,
but
no.
that stupid Super Mario Brothers movie. That
Oh, that was so
That movie was great.
That was
I'm sorry.
No, you don't need to apologize.
Oh,
Totally cool.
man.
Mario had like a really gravelly voice. And
Classic.
That's what you took away from it, huh? Okay.
all colors go into the rainbow.
That's not what bothered me about that movie. Like Jurassic Park holds up definitely better than Mario Brothers, right? Like I feel like we may have liked Mario Brothers when we saw it, some of us, but it didn't hold up like in the same way.
No.
I think it kind of stands out as one of the movies. Like for me, Matrix.
Yeah.
When I watched it and before Matrix, the graphics were different.
Yeah.
This is a movie from 1993 that's the same.
Yeah.
Like in 1992, movies were one way, and then this movie came out and was like, oh, this is what you can do with movies.
game changer.
Matrix was like a movie like that, and this is the movie like, what is it, 7 years before or something? It was like the next leap before that.
Yeah, in lots of ways, like in terms of like the CGI animatronics, like changed it. Those shots of the brontosauruses in the background, that big reveal, hold up because the characters aren't CGI in the foreground. And this film really uses that well. And as we get to Jurassic Park 3, you start to see them forget about that's how it works, you know? Like, it looks best when it's far away and big and beautiful. I like it. And I think, like, the movie wants that reaction from us and shows us it with the characters' reactions. Before we talk about the characters, you guys know this stuff, right? John Hammond, very rich. Maybe he ran a zoo. Definitely started with flea circuses, though. But runs a company, genetically engineers dinosaurs. There's an accident. They're a year from launch. To satisfy the lawyer, they got to bring in a team of experts for a weekend. And then everything goes wrong. I think, let's hear a couple people's thoughts. Should we bring back dinosaurs? You want good, bad idea? Why? What do you think? Horrible idea because of the movie?
I saw this movie and it doesn't look good.
Yeah, all right, 1, 2. What do you think? 1?
I think Jeff Goldblum was right.
What did Jeff Goldblum say?
Nature cannot be contained.
Can't. It's very true. And that like force of nature, like we see it until the fly came before, but yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man, The Fly is a film I'd love to talk about as well. Do you want to say? Yeah.
Well, it says extinct species. Like, specific dinosaurs,
Yeah.
I would say let's not try to recreate a T-Rex because, I mean, there's really nothing that could rival it right now. So, but, like, I think if there was some kind of, like, ancient fish that, like, could help with, like, food reserves or, like, to stop world hunger, that would be awesome. But if you're gonna, like, just recreate something for a zoo, don't think that's the best idea.
Yeah.
Especially if it's dangerous.
Yeah. Environment. I'm reminded of Okja.
Yes, Okja.
Okja is what your comment reminds me of. I don't know. You guys agree with that? Like, what do you think?
The issue.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that if humans caused the species to go extinct, then we should, and like it was like just humanity that did it, like then we should find a way to not only bring back but find a way to restore its habitat.
Like dodo bird.
But the issue
Maybe
with,
not the dodo bird,
but the
Okay.
issue with that's like it's an ecosystem that has been done for billions of years.
Yeah.
And our ecosystem now is completely different than what it was before. Like humans unfortunately has completely like made it collapse. So to bring back something from billions of years prior to us to now, you don't know what is going to happen. You don't know what kind of destruction that it can cause, which is exactly what happened here. It's kind of reminiscent to zombies. Like when we try to bring back the dead and you see what causes with zombies and stuff like that, you're trying to bring back dinosaurs which are dead.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. That would be a cool thing to like analyze with like parallels, zombies, dinosaurs, or dinosaurs being a form of zombies.
Zombie dinosaurs.
Zombie dinosaurs. We laugh.
That's like the really good like 1999 zombie dinosaurs.
We laugh. We laugh. But yeah, it's coming.
Badlands Productions, dinosaurs.
Ah, yeah.
You can use Billy.
Trademark that too.
Yeah, we'll write that down, write it down. I actually think, yeah, everyone's saying it's not a good idea. Ecosystem, primarily kind of thing. But from the way that life is at this point with humanity and everything that we're doing on this planet, I feel like it would just be a lost cause anyway. Bring them back and then somehow kill them, or the fact of the matter of the ecosystem's not the way they're designed to be. They'll just kind of like die out on their own after X amount of time anyway. So
Yeah.
it would just kind of be pointless.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I don't know if it's really possible to not have this happen.
Yeah.
The way medicine's going now is like, they're trying to figure out a way to genetically modify humans so they don't get cancer. Things like that. At some point, the science is going to get to the point where this is going to be easy. And then it's like, as technology advances pretty quickly over the next 100 years or 200 years, and AI and stuff, they're going to get to the point where they made it look really hard to make a dinosaur in this. In 100 years, it's going to take somebody in their garage to make a dinosaur.
Yeah.
And there's just going to be too many people around to not do this. So it might be, it might be a good idea, like, to think about it in terms of not necessarily stopping it, but being in control of it, as opposed to stopping it. Because
Like
stopping it doesn't
inevitability.
seem to work with any science. Like, everything gets out of the box at some point.
There was a quote by, and the scientist's name escapes me at the moment, but it was something like, we scientists can tell you, like, we're going to get to the point where we can tell you, like, how to do it, right? But we can't tell you what to do with it, right? And yeah, like, that could be a point where it's just, everything's just a matter of time, going from science fiction to science fact. And which brings us to one of the big, like, grounding principles of, like, kind of the lens we're using tonight is science fiction movies. I'm not going to make the claim they're high art, right? It's not Schindler's List with dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. They're different movies, but these are all creative products of with a movie, hundreds of people, maybe more. And science fiction movies take technology that could be possible, and they show us the what if it was, right? And usually that what if it was goes terrible. Can anybody think of examples? I feel like we've said a lot already. But yeah, go ahead.
Aliens, I guess.
Yeah, how so?
Well, this is
You gonna go the whole Prometheus circle on us?
God.
Well, technically, it's a robot that. No, go ahead, sir.
Well, you know what? Mind if I just switch John? The
Yeah.
Terminator.
Okay.
We tried to create something that would fight the battles for us, but instead it just nuked us 3 billion people and created an army of machines that would wipe us out till the last ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, artificial intelligence is what Skynet is, right? And like a lot of people think robots, right? But like it's smart computers. The robots came later.
Exactly. Google.
Google, yeah, Siri or OK Google. Alexa. Look, they all have names. They've got names. And it's not as stupid as Genesis with a Y.
Cannot name this guy.
Go ahead.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, no, that's, oh yeah.
The end.
A little bit of a genre jump. Like there's Jeepers Creepers.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's completely like it's nothing like this, but at the same time there's the possibilities where you're driving on the road, you see somebody throw like something that looks like a body bag into what looks like a dumpster, and then they drive off. Well, there's the moral dilemma: do you want to try to help, or do you want to just let it go? Like with the dinosaurs, do you want to try to bring them back and like restore our ecosystem, or do you want to just let it be dead?
I also don't want to bring it back, for the record. Just so we're all clear. It's not what I'm going to try to like convince you of. Anybody else, what do you think? There's a long tradition of this.
It's not a movie, but
Yeah.
every single episode from Black Mirror.
I love Black Mirror. It's I was gonna make an announcement, and I'm sorry, I was gonna make an announcement like let's not be on our phones, specifically because this is the Black Mirror, you know, or one of the Black Mirrors in our lives, you know. But again, you guys are doing great. I'm sorry, please.
No, I was just gonna say, like, you know, because I know one of the topics is over reliance on technology.
Yeah.
I mean, something simple as if our phones, like, we over rely on our phones way too much. Like, we'll forget. We don't even have certain phone numbers memorized. If they're dead, it's dead. No one has a charger. What if you have an emergency? So, yeah.
I like this group. I feel like I could skip like a whole bunch of stuff and just jump right. Yeah.
Frankenstein.
Oh yes. Very good. That's why I put visuals sometimes to help people with examples. You can go all the way back to Greek mythology. Prometheus steals fire from the gods, messes with nature, gives it to man. It's our first tool, and then terrible punishment, right? Icarus flies too close to the sun, hubris. All the way with Frankenstein, man makes monster. And man makes monster is in the movie, the examples, it's us using technology to create a force that we cannot turn back.
Open Pandora's box. And
Yeah, another good one. Yeah.
There's also the new movie, I think it came out last year, which is The Predator. Like, it's basically the entire point of it was that, so we fought these creatures, and they're more powerful than us. Let's try to get them to fight with us. So they sedate one and strap it down to a table and try to, like, figure out how it thinks and everything. And if you put that into the lens, you can see that them trying to replicate predators, or as they use it in the movie, the predator suit, or the predator killer suit, which would basically allow you to fight. Like, if you look at the new Jurassic World, they want to use the raptors.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
In the Predator, they want to use the Predator to fight for them. There's a little bit of a trend going.
Yeah. Using it as a tool, using it as a weapon. Yeah. Yes. The light's hard on the back.
I noticed.
Yeah.
There's like a slight difference too with something like Jurassic Park. It seems like it's more for they're bringing it back for like the wonder to see what they can do.
Yeah.
To use the technology and see how they can get there. But then there's other examples. I think like the Will Smith I Am Legend, where they do something that's intended to like cure cancer, and it backfires. It's all whatever the chaos that ensues afterwards.
No, that's a great example too.
Between, like, just doing it because you can and doing it for the benefit, but ends up turning around.
Yeah. Oh, I Am Legend is a good example. I forgot. It's we're making a medicine.
Well, since we're on the topic of Will Smith movies and using technology to
I'm thinking of Independence Day for July.
yeah,
I'm just saying.
Independence Day.
Okay.
What
Yeah,
about
go ahead.
The second one.
We could have a fun conversation about Independence Day resurgence.
Yes.
Yeah, I've
Bear
seen
with
it.
me here. In the 20 years since after the first one,
Mm-hmm.
they used the technology from the alien spaceships that crashed and that we destroyed to retrofit F-15
Mm-hmm.
jets and make them into like super space fighters or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't enough when the when the Queen ship, still wasn't enough. So, in some way, sometimes retrofitting technology to our own
Mm-hmm.
is not the best answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to say one thing, like, we could actually just make this about Jeff Goldblum.
We could. Just do all Jeff Goldblum's movies?
The remake of The Fly.
The Fly, you're right.
Jeff Goldblum.
Earth Girls are easy. Yeah. The Majesty of Jeff Goldblum. I don't do a good Goldblum. See, because that was my, yeah, that's good. It's a lot of weird pauses, yeah.
Is there a selection bias, like in movies,
Yeah.
with technology always going wrong?
Yeah, I think so.
Because in movies, it always goes wrong because they have to have a conflict.
Yeah.
Like, how often this I think it makes people think that technology is always going to end up bad.
Yeah.
Because in a movie, it has to end up bad, or you wouldn't watch the movie because it wouldn't have a conflict. Like, they don't make a movie about a successful genetic thing or
Yeah.
some testing that works out.
Look at this big thing, yeah.
Because that'd be really boring.
But then it would be a character's role.
I don't know, Ocha was nice. I liked Ocha. I think Ocha is a good example of the contrary.
Like, when it turned out-
They genetically engineered this giant pig, and like the little girl loves it. Beautiful
I've
movie.
only seen like parts of it. I don't know that.
Like Utopia. People ask me all the time, like, what's a utopian book I should make the kids read? And I'm like, I don't know.
The Giver?
Yeah, that's what people say. Yeah, The Giver is a big one. But is it good in The Giver?
Matrix with kids.
Yeah. Is the Matrix a utopia though? I think all of those are secretly dystopias. Hunger Games is I don't know. All right, different day. I mean, you sir, I 100% agree with that idea, and we can see what other people think about that. But I think there is some kind of bias to add suspense, to add conflict. I think often movies show us be afraid of technology, be afraid of new technology. But past the entertainment value, like I think those messages have effects.
Like, what, I think it shows up like in Jurassic Park. 'Cause
Yeah.
People are afraid because like this guy, steals the
Mm-hmm.
files and stuff. And they're making it out, but like there's so many plot tricks in that movie to like make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Because the security for a dinosaur park has 3 guys.
Yeah.
Like they close down. There's 3 guys. There's one guy with a shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a guy smoking a cigarette.
Everybody left because of the storm though.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. See, it's only because of this
There'd be
hurricane.
Like 5,000 people guarding that.
There should be.
Like that's what would actually.
Over reliance on technology, you see that, and that's one of the things we're gonna watch a clip of it in a little bit where Hammond like brings up. He's like, "Oh, we were too reliant on Nedry. I see that now." Like the automation is the problem, but like this movie is saying something a little more than just like over reliance on automation is dangerous. Definitely saying nature is powerful. I don't know. Let's take a look at these characters. And try to focus a little more on
who they are and what they're showing.
Oh, it cut right before the continuity error that we were speaking of earlier with the Jeeps. I was watching that, and I was like, oh, I should cut it now. You know, why'd they make the clip so long? And then I was like, oh, well, the island's a character. And I was like, oh, no, I wanted us to see the thing with the seatbelt. Let's start with Dr. Grant, and like, let's just short kind of things we notice or think or see about him as we're introduced to him in the film. Anything we want to say? How?
He's
Yeah?
very skeptical.
Skeptical of
Everything.
everything. Fox Mulder of them. Oh no, a Scully. Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
You don't have to raise your
seemed
hands. You guys.
a little bit confused when he found the 2 pieces of the seatbelt that were the
Yeah.
same, but then he still tried to put them together,
Mm-hmm.
which is a little bit weird,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're a scientist. So I don't know why he would, like, if he's like he
Yeah.
took a solid second to look at them, notice that they were different, put them together, and then when they didn't go together, he just kept trying to put them together.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he
I
was,
think that's-
maybe he was talking to himself in his head, saying, "This is ridiculous. What is my
Going to this weird
what
island.
to do?
Why am I
That says a lot about
This is ominous. It was an ominous moment."
Yeah. Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
think that says a lot about his character, though. Like,
Yeah.
even though the circumstance is not working for him at the moment, he'll find a way to make it better in some case. Like in the park,
To make it work.
he'll make it
Not
work.
the-
Just as
the
we see through the
stubborn.
park, as he's going through the park and everything is unraveling,
I don't want
he still survives.
Yeah.
And he still
That
goes
says
up.
a lot about their field too.
Yeah.
I mean, like Hammond said, I brought the scientist, you brought the rock star.
Mhm.
I mean, these guys, I mean, not to discredit what they do, but they look at dead animals and
Mhm.
for what they did. He spends all of his time trying to figure out where things aren't going to work.
Malcolm. Yeah.
So it's just kind of weird where, you know, like he's used to taking things at face value, looking at bones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's used to looking beyond what he sees to see where things go deeper. And the guy who takes things at face value says, "Oh, I got 2 buckles.
Mm-hmm.
Let me jam these together."
Yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna say like 2 things. One was immediately after that he kind of just like improvises, so it kind of like to me I thought of him more of like, all right, he's in this situation where it's just like, all right, it's not working, just make something up and do it that way. But I also noticed it as kind of a foreshadowing to the theme of the park itself.
Yeah. Not things not going right.
Not just that, but like the buckles were both the female end.
Yeah.
And
Oh, look at you. That's great.
and then it finds a way to tie it.
It's so interesting, though. Such a silly thing.
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait. Do you want the jacket? Let's do it. I mean, I'm done. That's great. You guys don't need me. Human ingenuity. Yeah, definitely. Like problem solving, like the raptor, right? But yeah, Greg.
From a movie standpoint, you need a Indiana Jones in this movie
Yeah.
to drive the plot. Mm-hmm. That's like his moment. Like,
He is, yeah.
We'll solve all the
Or
problems.
MacGyver.
Or MacGyver.
To an extent. He looks like a cross between MacGyver
For,
and Indiana Jones with the hat.
for a lot of people, this is going to be them watching the movie. This is going to be the character they're going to connect to. Both of them are like trapped in the past, right? Like as I think we brought up a little bit. Grant can't use technology. His first line is, I hate computers. Right? When we cut to him in the desert, he messes with the like ultrasound of the raptor skeleton. Can't like the seatbelt, definitely. I think that is good foreshadowing. He does not like kids either, and that's his arc. Sadler, anything anyone wants to add about her? I hit the button too many times. I don't know. I mean, I guess I know what a paleobotanist is. It's plants, right? It's like you dig for plant stuff.
Prehistoric times, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, but anything else about her?
She's more the adventurer.
Yeah.
She's the one
And
who.
a survivor.
Yeah, she's the one who's going to take the risk, therefore force him to get out of his element.
Yeah. I mean, like, I was really impressed. Like, in the beginning of the movie, like babies, children conversation. I was like, oh, I didn't remember like this bit, and then I saw again like how tough and adventurous she was. And I was like, oh yeah, she is like a cover yours badass character. Yeah, go ahead, guys. You can. Yeah.
So, like every movie has to have that one character that says, "Oh, well, absolutely, this can't happen," and then it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, "Well, at least this won't happen," and then it happens.
Mhm.
And that's her. She says, "Well, at least they won't open the doors. They don't know how to. They open the doors.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they won't find us in here. They're right there." They always have to have one character in the movies, and most of the times it's the fat guy. And it says, and he'll just say like, "Oh, well, he won't find us here," and then like next thing you know, he's popping out and he's just like, "Oh, I found you."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, verbal irony, definitely. She's not a fat guy, so like it's a
Yeah, I know. So it's a little bit of a difference.
Okay.
At the same
Yeah.
time, you still have Dennis.
Yeah, you're right, Dennis. We're gonna get to Dennis.
She does have intuition. Like
Mhm.
she knows when things are wrong. She knew Arnold something was wrong when Samuel Jackson was gone for
Right.
too long. Like, she's not an idiot.
No. Far from it.
She's the one that goes and turns all the power back on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best part of the movie.
Oh my god.
Mhm.
I love
Yeah, that's
that.
great.
That was like the maximum suspense when she's pumping the thing. She's like, yes, I got it. Burn you.
It was a very,
I
it was a
love
very,
Jackie's dragon.
a very charged moment. In the
That's funny.
Yeah. What happened? Yeah. Malcolm, Chaos, Where's Black? Hits on everything probably. Anything else? Shirtless.
The Goldblum.
The Goldblum.
Well, he's sort of the narrator of the concept of like technology's dangerous.
Yeah,
It's like he's the guy who constantly brings up the fact that this is going to not work out the whole time.
Yeah, from his first introduction too.
They're just movie stars that are kind of driving the plot of a cool dinosaur movie. Malcolm is the guy who keeps saying like running the themes, like all the themes bounce through Malcolm.
That's interesting that he calls him "You Bring a Rock Star," right? And the other two are like really just the movie stars, like you're saying.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Jeff Goldblum is like the every time something comes up about the problem with dinosaurs coming back to life, it's all run through him.
Yeah.
I mean, Grant and Sattler just seem to be like dealing with everything as it goes along. I mean, they're like a reflection point on the problems with dinosaurs now. They're kind of excited about it too. He's the one who's the driving part about the whole technology is a problem because
He's the hot take guy.
Well,
Yeah.
he's the one giving the comments.
Yeah.
technically, like when they're at the dinner scene, they're all kind of saying how it doesn't make sense. This shouldn't kind of be.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
his is more like about that the actual like question that we're here talking about, the technophobia part of just like that you can't control it.
Mhm.
So
There's that theme of control and chaos that kind of plays throughout this. Definitely. Anything else on Malcolm or Hammond?
Has the best one-liners.
Which one?
Malcolm.
Malcolm. Life finds a way.
Must go faster.
Must go faster is good too.
Must go faster.
He says that in
Independence
Day, yeah. He started just playing himself, I guess.
Well, now he's just saying, must cash paycheck, must cash paycheck.
What's that?
Yeah, that's the best one.
Which one?
No, this is Lost World.
Lost World.
That's what he spread because that movie is pure chaos.
Mhm.
That movie is all chaos, and he's just like, yeah, this is exactly what I told you was gonna happen.
Mhm.
So let me just walk through my grand non-design.
Yeah.
way. Like when he's just like on that second island, everything's just torn to shit. He's looking for his girl. Oops, no, he's looking for his girlfriend.
Mhm.
And they're just like Sarah, and he's like Sarah Hart, and he's like, how many Sarahs do you think are on this island?
It's very true. You get the sense that in the first film, all of them are going for money. Like even Goldblum probably, or fame. But in the second one, right, they're not going to get anyone to go for money. Interestingly, they get Grant to go for money in the third one. Okay, do they? I don't know.
I think Malcolm was supposed to even get killed off in this one, like his character.
He dies in the book, yeah.
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 And I haven't even read them up. I've got
Hammond too. Hammond also dies in the book, and both of them live, yeah.
He was kind of a jerk in that one.
Yes, he was, yeah. They humanize him definitely more of a Papa Smurf character in the film, but I would still argue that like he's one of the villains in some way. You had a thought about the colors?
Yeah, so it's interesting that throughout the movie they have Malcolm all in black and Hammond all in white. Malcolm is the one who's kind of like the devil's advocate of the park, and Hammond is the angel's advocate. Is that what it was? Yes.
The people on the shoulders.
They're very opposite characters.
Yeah.
One is an advocate and one an advocate for the park.
Who's the witch in the
Also,
gingerbread
Grant
house?
and
Climb into the oven.
But kind of going on what
Yeah.
you said with Hammond always in white, it's him playing God.
Oh, I can see that too.
Yeah.
I could totally.
There's definitely something heavenly about the all white.
Right. But he's also the great deceiver because he's playing God and, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It goes wrong.
That's interesting.
Uh-huh.
Because Lucifer, like if you look at like the traditional like idea of what, you know, how Lucifer fell from heaven, it wasn't that like he was like bad so much as that he was just like, God, why do we care so much about these creatures that are humans? So if you look at Malcolm in that sense where he's going to him and he's like, dude, these things you made, they're gonna be the end of us.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately he's right, but he's vilified in those first few moments as the guy, like every time Malcolm says something, Hammond's rolling his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like the clown or something, you know? Yeah.
But Hammond's also playing that. We get that arrogant corporate. I have the money to be God in this sense, and that's why Malcolm's character is so important, because he is the guy who's trying to combat everything Hammond's doing, but really no one else is paying attention to him.
Right.
Really. So he plays this corporate greed sort of character in a way, which shows you at the end that it didn't work out in his favor. So that's what I got from the dynamic of him and Malcolm.
I mean, the lawyer's definitely more greedy, but because like Hammond's like, oh, anyone in the world should be able to go to Jurassic Park. Like he has that line, but definitely, right? Like, why else do it? Like you run parks, it's established. There's got to be a level of making a profit or ego, the hubris. Frankenstein, right? He's our Dr. Frankenstein. You know, like, this is what it feels like to be God, Dr. Frankenstein says. And, like, that's Hammond in a way.
And Malcolm is the townspeople.
Maybe, yeah.
It's actually pretty amazing how, just completely delusional he is.
Hammond.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the scenes I want to look at also in a little bit is, next time when we have control. She's like, you never had control. Control is the illusion. It's my Ellie Sadler. You can book me, it's fine. I'm available. All right, lawyer, anyone?
Bernardo.
Yeah.
He liked it at that dinner scene. He was
Not initially, but by the dinner
He was
scene.
ready to start signing things.
He was in.
Yeah.
You saw the dollar signs.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Has a weak bladder. I didn't know what else to write. I needed to make a joke about it.
Still owes him an apology.
Yeah, I know. He was right. Well, like, again, he is concerned in the get-go. I'll shut you down if me and my investors aren't satisfied. In 48 hours, I'll be accepting your apology. Like, and then he's singing a different tune. We're going to make a fortune.
Leaving kids in the car.
Yeah.
To run away.
Yeah, well, that's something else entirely. What's going on with the children in this movie and what it suggests,
Why are they there?
Why are they there?
Audience.
He can afford it. The parents are going through some kind of vague divorce or something.
Oh, is that what they?
I think it's established.
Also,
Two examples.
In the book, definitely no, but I think in the film,
people in a hurricane? I don't think they need a hurricane.
yeah, it was 1993. Doppler radar was not good.
Have the technology to know there's a hurricane.
Google wasn't.
Touche.
Yes.
We actually did. We
also,
did try to. We listened to see when we watched it last week to see if it actually was technically a hurricane.
And what do they say?
I think they just said it was a tropical storm.
Tropical
It came
storm.
out of nowhere.
Jurassic Park can't even withstand a tropical storm.
It looked pretty hurricane.
That and all the power went out, basically, so.
Yeah.
It was like a tropical island.
Well, didn't
Tropical, bad place to do it.
Yeah, that was the
Okay. Nedry, I will point out, because someone hopefully sees it like anagram, you move it, it's nerdy, right?
So obvious.
Hollywood has been poking fun at, IT people for a long time. The IT Crowd is a funny show, if anyone has Netflix. But it's old and British, oldish and British, old for you guys. Nedry also wants money. You can make the claim he's greedy also. Anyway, how do you guys feel about him? You happy when he dies?
Oh, yeah.
Monster. You shouldn't be happy when he dies. I mean, that's what they want you. They want you to kind of crave his punishment.
Human weakness in the story.
Yeah.
Personified.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Greed, right?
I think he's like the more dangerous greed.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't care what happens to the park when he leaves.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like, oh, like the lawyers, like kind of has that greed. He wants to make money from this, but at the cost of the safety of the park, make sure everything's going. But him, he's just like, I got this other option, this other offer. I'm just going to steal from you and go there, and I don't care what happens here.
Yeah, he has vague
He's
financial
supposed to be a
problems.
sociopath in some way, right?
When I watched this, I wondered again. I was like, did he know all of this could happen? He didn't, but I guess it doesn't matter. He still did it, right? Like it could have been just the power was a part of the storm going out, but it doesn't matter. I don't think because he still manipulated, sabotaged in a way that made everything else that comes after possible. And if you hadn't,
It's kind of like the Jurassic World, if you've ever seen that. Like,
has anyone seen Jurassic World? Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, okay. All right, cool. Go ahead.
So basically, in like one of the starting scenes, they create like a bigger Tyrannosaurus Rex, and it gets loose in one of the starting scenes, and it's Chris Pratt, and of course a fat guy. I don't even know his name.
Vincent D'Onofrio, I believe.
No.
No, he means the the guy with the hard hat, the
Yeah.
technician guy. Yeah.
So
A red shirt.
A red shirt. Yeah.
yeah, so they all start running around, and the guy, the technician guy or whatever, he starts panicking. He's like, well, what are we supposed to do? Like, there's a dinosaur on the loose, and then he starts running, and he runs over in front of the car, and Chris Pratt dives under the car, and then the technician looks over at Chris Pratt, and he's like, well, it's not over by you. Oh, and then just boom.
So it's like technicians don't know how to live in the real world. Street smarts.
It's like Nedry, because Nedry, he's kind of like that guy, because he would realize at right as he's about to die, he would realize, wait, that's what happened. Not like he would point out that he would look someplace and then say figure out that if he's not over there, he's over there, and then he dies. And it's just I don't know if they created that character as a tip off to Nedry, but it's definitely seemed like it.
Yeah, I think it's the punching bag. As we said, he's all of the things that are wrong or bad about us. Yeah, go ahead. And then.
But see, I now have years later of watching this and doing technology as a job. Nedry.
Oh, are you an IT guy? Did we offend you at all? Just want to make sure.
Nedry is almost on par with Hammond. Hammond is playing God, okay, and everything.
Okay.
This is everything going wrong. Nedry they gave him the keys to the kingdom, okay, and there should never be just one person who, has that full control, in technologically speaking, he's doing the same thing. He doing and did the same thing as what Hammond was doing. I'm playing God, and when you relinquish that control, or you're the sole ownership. Take sole ownership of something. Things are gonna go wrong. There was just something in the news the other day, still with technology, that some business CEO unfortunately passed away for some cause, and he's the only one with the passwords to $30 billion in Bitcoin, and they can't get it. And
Yeah.
So he's just up there with Hammond as well.
It makes it so simple. Technology has freed us, so it's so minimal, but having one person now is all you need is not necessarily a good thing. Yeah.
I think Nedry is a classic representation of nature versus humanity.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. He symbolizes greed, he symbolizes dysfunction, he symbolizes sticking your nose in where it doesn't belong, not letting nature kind of just function on its own. So I think that they encompassed all that in his character.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. And he dies during the storm, not respecting nature, what's been right in front of him. Yeah.
I could agree with that. I mean, that doesn't seem like he seems like he's an amalgamation of all the problems
Yeah.
in the movie. But from a movie standpoint, you have 2 hours to make a movie. You don't know about the book.
Because movie.
What is it? One guy who messes everything up in the book too?
Is anyone really familiar with the book and want to speak to that?
I haven't.
It's just
He's the
one
same?
guy who somehow short circuits an entire book.
It's the inciting incident, kind of. No,
Because I think he's not really a character that's supposed to be viewed as a character. He's not
Yeah.
a guy. He's all the things wrong with humanity.
Right.
He's a combination.
And
And you need to put that into a person on a screen because you can't show a concept on a screen
And
without a
Yeah, and like our relationship with technology. You see that through him and technology also a little bit. We're reliant. It's just everything's so automated. Yeah.
He starts, excuse my language, shit talking the dinosaur that's about to kill him.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's like yelling at it.
That's what I mean. Disrespecting nature.
No respect for what's going on.
He's now dead, right? Like
In real life or no?
no, I mean, in the movie.
Okay. Yeah. No, I know. Right.
Paraphrase his saying, "No wonder you're extinct."
Yeah. No wonder you're extinct. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Exactly.
but also the fragility of life as it is, so is technology. All it takes to ruin someone's day is just unplug it.
Yeah. Turn it off and on again. Like, 'cause it's what they do.
Yeah.
Okay. I love our conversation, and I'm not cutting it off. But like, I don't need to be like character slides because we're talking about like, all of this already. Anyone want to talk about the dinosaurs? But like, here, this is what we're talking about.
About Dennis.
Vote. Do you want to watch the scene where they see Mr. DNA?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dino DNA.
This was completely real to me in the 6th grade when I saw this in the theater.
Yeah.
This was what we talked about. This is how I was taught. It's School of Rock. Or Schoolhouse of Rock.
Schoolhouse Rock.
Thank you.
No, you're right.
I'm tired. I was 12 years old when I saw this, and I was convinced that this was true.
Yep.
Wait, it was real. It is.
I only bring it up again, not to cut it off, but for the sake of time, like we really don't have to watch it. We can just talk about it. Yes. Vote. Thumbs up to play it. But again, it's just putting breaks in the conversation. Okay. Hey guys. So I think like similar to how a lot of us shared our experiences of like first seeing this or reactions to it. The film presents to us the characters, then it presents to us the technology. It shows you the dinosaur first, and then tells you how they did it. But what do you think about what we're seeing in that scene, or in general with technology and what they've done and how it's being presented?
And about the taking the frog DNA and putting it in with the filling the gaps in the dinosaur DNA. That like it comes in. It's a very short like little. Thing that comes in very, very important.
It fits with the whole Malcolm's claim, life finds a way.
Yes.
Yeah, right, because the fly. Yeah.
I believe that was explained in that moment where we figured out that.
That's what Grant says.
Yeah.
All right. What do you guys? Yeah. You had. Oh, she's gone. The woman earlier had said life finds. I'm sorry. Now I'm all flustered. Is she okay? Yeah. All right. No, Courtney said. What did Courtney say, Derek?
That she believes aliens exist.
She did say that. All right. Nah, don't worry about it.
I'm right here. What?
We're reacting to the dinosaur sequence or the DNA sequence.
It's all real.
It could. Well, isn't it happening?
Well,
yeah.
Not with frogs, but I mean, does anybody else feel like they have made a dinosaur and they're just not telling us?
Yeah.
I'm sure that they've made a dinosaur. I feel it.
watching it again, like for the first time in a long time,
Mm-hmm.
I realized like sitting in 2019, I realized that's probably the first instance of world building
Mm-hmm.
I had ever seen as a kid. Like the idea that like we have all these franchises now that take all this time to like connect stuff, like Game of Thrones and all the Marvel movies and stuff like that. They take all this time to make you believe that whatever it is you're watching is plausible in some way. But like, you know, in '94, you know, that whole little sequence, like she said, is like Schoolhouse Rock. That's like
That was it. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
You know, somebody making something that's totally fantastical, but like how do we present it in a way that makes you believe that it could actually happen?
Mm-hmm.
in your life?
Mm-hmm. They're grounding it in reality we kind of know about. It was Schoolhouse Rock, Courtney. That's what it was.
You've watched Schoolhouse Rock so many times that you're sitting there and watching it, and you're like, oh yeah, I believe it. That's what cartoons tell me to do. Yeah.
The one thing that threw me off was the whole finding of this fossil that has this dino DNA,
Mhm.
and there just happens to be a mosquito that
dinosaurs,
houses the blood of a dinosaur. Like I just,
All these different breeds.
I just found it very
Exactly.
unbelievable. Like the guy digs and he's oh here we got one. Like it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
Threw me off about everything, which made me believe that maybe this is not as possible as we could think. Maybe we think, but
They showed you the mosquito, man.
I know they just
In the cane.
So that's what's throwing me off. Where'd you get the mosquito?
Burst everyone's bubble.
There was also another, like, if you guys have ever seen, there was like an old, like, spring break flick called Piranha. Yeah. So basically, like, it's actually been.
Where are your parents? No, go ahead. Continue, please. No, you don't have to answer. Continue.
Right now.
So basically, like, there's the entire like kind of like theory that they were underneath the lake in a like kind of like inside of like a little tomb that was filled with water, and that they just survived there, and that eventually an earthquake happened and they got out. So it's actually been proven that there was a fish that I think it was called the fishhook manta or something.
Okay.
It was this crazy fish that had it had teeth that bent. And they
See that.
had supposedly gone extinct in like the late 1800s. And there was one found in like 2004 in like the Pacific Ocean by just like some like China Sea fishers.
And theories about Loch Ness Monster are kind of similar, right? People are like, it's a dinosaur, right? It's
Yeah.
like, if it's out there, then that could mean similar to the fish.
There's a possibility that it could have survived somehow.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
I just wanted to point out that just last year, a woolly mammoth, the DNA was successfully inserted into the elephant genome, and they said that within 2 years they will have recreated the woolly mammoth.
At the end, I did have a whole list of like animals we've cloned like completely. Woolly mammoth is like one step closer to dinosaurs. We're going there. It's happening, and the movie's telling us we should be scared.
So I just want to, like, I don't want to burst everyone's bubble, but like obviously, we all know that this is kind of BS in terms of like the science there.
Yeah.
But there have been some articles that I found that said, in theory, this should work. But the problem is actually more so the amount of blood in the mosquito is not enough to recreate even close to what that DNA would be, even if you filled the gaps with something
With
else.
frogs.
And at that point, then it wouldn't be the same thing, and you wouldn't have all these different species either.
We're all safe then.
For now, we're safe for now.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool the attention to detail that they
Yeah.
have for whatever.
You're like, okay, I could see it.
Well, I think that's the whole point.
Yeah.
From a movie standpoint, they're trying to make like people like my mom watch this movie. So my mom's not going to watch it if it's Star Wars, because that's all fake. So they need a scene that lets you like take your mind and say, okay, maybe this is possible, to get everybody in the right frame to be afraid of this. Because you're not afraid of dinosaurs if it's completely ridiculous. So you need like a really like expository 2 minutes to say, okay, everything you're about to see might be possible, to add to the dimension of fear to the rest of the movie.
Yeah. The science makes it scary. You're right. If they didn't have it, yeah.
Like Jaws.
No, but they did jump the size of the fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was also
Oh man, there's a theory. That's great. Okay, let's. I appreciate the enthusiasm. Let's try to do a one mic kind of thing, one voice, because everyone is important, and I want us to hear each other. What's that? Oh no, I appreciate the excitement. But like also as facilitator of this, I'm gonna be like, hey guys, come on, it's okay, come on. All right, yeah.
But going back to what he said, where he said like there has to be like a kind of believable part of it. Like if you think about like Halloween, like it's like a goofy slasher fic. Like,
It's amazing.
but there's a little bit of like when the time it came out, you were still thinking about like the Ted Bundy cases and all that kind of stuff. So it was still a little bit relevant. So people were still scared. But if nobody is probably gonna know this movie, but if you think about like Thanksgiving or Jack Frost, it has no it makes no sense. But some people like them because they make no sense. But if it makes a little bit more sense, it makes it so much more. Like it makes it so much more. Like it ingrains itself into your brain, so that way you can know, wait, this could actually happen to me.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I agree. I think I saw some other hands. Did you want to share? Are you sure? Okay.
If we're on the topic of realistic movies, why not Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds?
Okay.
Do you think?
I don't know.
My dad thinks that. My dad told me that that's a scary movie because he thinks that it could actually happen. I mean, birds could just go crazy or something without any reason.
Well, if we're talking about the birds, we may as well talk about The Happening.
That's I was just thinking that as well. I was like, the birds kind of maybe started a whole tradition in and of itself about.
I've never seen The Happening.
Great comedy.
You don't need to see
It is a good comedy, yeah. No, I agree with that as well. Where I'm like, it's a totally decent movie if you watch it as a comedy.
That movie was no good.
He's not self-aware yet by that point, though, in his career. I don't think. No. Yeah. Okay. One of the questions that is brought up is the why, and we brought up earlier the scene at the lunch, right? And it follows right after they see the raptors feed. We don't see the raptors yet at that part because, as our movie monster, we're keeping those monsters hidden for as long as we can. Well, we can take a look at this scene. This is after we've introduced the technology. Everyone's really happy with it, and then we start to bring in the ethical concerns. Who's here? The kids are here. And I think it's really interesting that the children are introduced immediately following that scene. Oh, I sat on a raisinette. And I swear it was a raisinette. Always gotta have one poop joke. Low culture, even for high culture conversation. It comes right after. First, we see what he did. This conversation doesn't come before it. He's already done it. Then we talk about the ethics. And then we meet the children. But in terms of that scene we just watched, right? Like, how do you feel about those concerns? I heard it echoed earlier. So if anyone wants to continue with that, like, we could talk about how these characters each kind of represent an ideology, a viewpoint on the issue. What do you think? Yeah, sir.
It was kind of interesting, and I didn't think about it. I forgot about that point. Hammond used the conservationalist argument. Where he was just like, yeah, you know, if I had decided to save condors, you wouldn't have an issue with it. And Malcolm's like, well, dinosaurs had their chance, and that's not something you always hear. You know what I'm saying? From the scientific community, like oftentimes you hear like, oh, okay, you know, all living creatures should have the right. You know, we should try to save the pandas, save the cheetahs, save the raptors too.
Save the raptors, yeah.
So, like, you know, it's interesting to hear the chaotician say that dinosaurs had their time, they failed. Let's not try to mess with that. And like the only other time that I ever heard a character in film talk about chaos, this is gonna be weird. The Joker in Dark Knight. In that scene in the hospital when he's talking to Two-Face, he said, of all the things you think about me and what I think about chaos, chaos is fair. Right? So is it not fair that the dinosaurs were here, lived, and are gone? You know what I mean? Like, why are we doing this again? Like, why are we... You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. It introduces too many variables, he says at one point. It's an equation that you can't tell where it's going to go, but it's probably not going to be good. Did you ever thought? No, I didn't know if I saw your hand.
Well, I watched the movie again last night. Like, Malcolm's concern is a concern that, like, things might get out of hand, but that doesn't... If we don't make dinosaurs, it doesn't mean that, like, biology is not going to get out of hand anyway under chaos theory. I mean, like, there could be a bacteria that, like, right now is going to wipe out half the population of the planet. Like, that's going to happen anyway at some point in the next 100,000 years. It's going to happen. Like, there's chaos theory still working anyway. So dinosaurs, like, aren't like a unique thing. I mean, they're unique for the purpose of the movie because they're cool. But like, chaos theory goes anyway.
Yeah,
So
for
like,
everything,
I mean,
the drop of water.
and you're not going to control, like, at some point, like, this is going to, like I said, I think I said earlier, but I think it's going to be easy to make dinosaurs, and they're also not in control of all the other humans on the planet. Like, somebody's going to make dinosaurs. Like, it's better that it be done correctly, not and managed, than, you know, he's taking it from a perspective like, we could shut this off and we didn't do this. As if that were, you can't shut chaos theory off either.
Right.
So chaos theory just goes.
No, those are.
Theoretically, I mean, like, dinosaurs could just come back, period.
Yeah.
Like, in 200,000 years from now, there could be dinosaurs again.
They emerge from the pyramids or
From
something, and they're all
large
large.
alligators breeding with other large alligators over 1 million years. It doesn't mean that they wouldn't.
No, I like that. Yeah.
But I think the thing about that is that that's nature allowing them to come back. Whereas with this, us humans are bringing them back by force. It's not like nature wants it back, because if, like you said, if nature wanted it back, they would be here.
Right.
They would be here right now. Natural selection, like Malcolm said, wouldn't have taken its course. Where we are, I don't know how to say it in English. I'm Brazilian, so I know in Portuguese a specific word, but it's like we're meddling in something that we shouldn't be meddling in.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just even Malcolm by this point. Grant and Sadler are also kind of like, have been converted a little bit to his viewpoint. Going back to the white and black with the Hammond and Malcolm's clothes, that dichotomy, that conflict between their ideologies, you see them almost like God and the devil competing for the other people's like allegiance in a way, trying to win them over, persuade them, have their support. Yeah.
Is watching the film, I was trying to understand if Malcolm Sadler and Grant's concern was more for the people who would because this is already done, so the dinosaurs are there.
Yeah.
So is the concern more for the people who will show up and pay their money and God forbid something happens, or is it more the concern of how the creation of these dinosaurs took place? Like
The latter.
What do you guys think? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the latter.
Okay.
See, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, again, opinions. We're all entitled. I like personally. I'm like, they're not worried about the people yet. They're worried about the dinosaurs, right? Like she says, these plants. You don't know if they can eat them. You don't know how they'll react. And he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do for a job now. Because then when they're going up the stairs with the kids, they're like, oh, what are you gonna do? Oh, I guess we'll evolve. Yeah, I don't think they're even worried about themselves yet, and that's the big thing they're missing. They're worried about the animals, and we know because we've seen the movie and stuff, and we've seen movies, so we know where it's going. But we know they should be worried about themselves with this. Yeah.
There's also the entire point that, like, the dinosaurs, they were wiped out by an asteroid, natural causes. Like, everything has a time. But if you bring it back to, like, the dodo bird, us, like, as people, had killed the dodo bird and are, like, making condors extinct. And like are killing manatees or whales and everything, and I think that it's completely like unethical. But if something died on its own and went extinct without any other interference, that's nature saying this doesn't have to be alive anymore. But if we force something into extinction, that's us saying this doesn't need to be alive anymore. And why do we, as human beings, get to consider ourselves over a literal force of nature?
Right. Yeah. There's definitely. Again, one of the slides we'll look at again is like the conflict with nature, the competition for superiority. Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Well, it's sort of a personification argument. Nature's not a person, and it didn't decide to make the dinosaurs extinct. nature doesn't fit.
Personify nature, yeah, I hear you.
Nature the dinosaurs did go extinct, but nobody tried to make them go extinct. There's no, and humans exist in nature.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with introducing the species to begin. I mean, they're going to introduce AI. They've already introduced it. It's in our phones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people are going to create and do what they're going to do in this world. So there's not, like, just because something went extinct, it wasn't a decision. It didn't happen, like an asteroid hit the Earth and killed the dinosaurs. That's bad. I could decide now, 65 million years later, and be like, I'm going to fix it. I mean,
think
why not?
that
They're going to have to get off the planet at some point, 100,000 years from now, like as a species.
And then it becomes Wall-E, and that's a scary movie too.
That's the ultimate horror movie.
Yeah, no, it really is. I taught a class like this to high school students, and like we always ended with Wall-E. I was like, it's the scariest one of them all, kids. I think you can't even say we made the dodo extinct using Malcolm's logic, not my own, right? Malcolm's logic, because it's all chaos, right? Like, humanity doesn't have a hand in really the extinction. It plays a role in it, but there's all these variables. But us bringing something back is a direct hand, is trying to push that chaos into a bottle or a bag. Other hands that I see? Yes, sir.
You know, the troubled species, it really is us.
Right.
Because all the overall problem with everything that happens in this movie is just greed. Whether it's for power, pride, or achievement, money, it's all greed. And some people less
Sorry. Go ahead.
you know, aren't affected by that as much, but that is the core of everything that goes wrong, trying to go up against the only entity that has true control, which they talk about, is nature. That's it. Nature's the only one in control. And if we're trying to override that, we will always lose. And why would we? There's no other reason to want to go against nature other than just for greed. The animal kingdom doesn't do that. We do that.
Right. T-Rex doesn't want to be fed, he wants to hunt. So you could give him 1 million goats. That's not what he wants. He
wants to go for the hunt.
Yeah, okay. They're not greedy. All right. Malfunction in technology. Things go wrong. A lot of things go wrong. Who should we blame? Is it all Hammond's fault or Nedry? Here's examples, but yeah, what do you think?
I think a little bit Hammond, because he should have definitely put fail safes. Like, if all the power goes out, like, they should use the reserves of the power to lock up everything. Or to, like, make sure to close off all the gates or everything, to make sure that once all the power goes out, everything just doesn't become unlocked and then the dinosaurs roam free. Because if you're in the middle of, like, a Costa Rican region, there's gonna be some hurricanes because there's warm water and there's cold air, so there's gonna be storms and everything. So why would you make it that one little power outage and everything goes to hell?
So what do you guys think? You think more security, better safeguards?
Hammond needs to vet his employees better. That's what he needs to do.
Do some background checks.
It's extensive background checks, because it shows the sabotage of how one man can just destroy every. Listen, this is a multi-billion-dollar park, bouncing off what he just said.
Yeah.
How is one man able to just click a button and it just blows up, right? The fail-safe.
Also,
The
health
fail-safe.
insurance.
Health insurance, yeah.
Life insurance.
That's what I know IT are like a whole different breed, like anything. Like,
Hammond doesn't
Derek,
know
you
that stuff.
you're like a god in comparison because like I don't know these things at all. So like there's a power that he has because of his abilities to manipulate technology. No one has any idea. You know, Samuel hops in and like knows how to press buttons.
Yeah. All right. Turn it off and on again. Did you have your hand?
Yeah, I was thinking, like, there's kind of two schools of thought on this. Like, Hammond being the overall overseer, like if he is God, it happened on his watch, right? So no matter what happens, it's on him. But then, like, on like the more microscopic level, like if you look at Nedry as like human weakness, right? Like let's say Jurassic Park, they went through the beta test. Jurassic Park opened and it ran for 10 years. Eventually, you're gonna get like an employee that is addicted to drugs or just is just fat and lazy or whatever it is, like human error, human oversight, human weakness, like that's Nedry. Like in this case, yes, he could have been bought, but somebody's gonna fall asleep on the job one day, and then there's gonna be an accident, right? Because that's just the variable that comes along with having people, and you can't account for that. It might be a big catastrophe, it might be something small where only one person dies, or maybe even nobody dies, but you know, something happens, but eventually, because you're dealing with human beings, you're gonna have a Nedry. Like to some varying degree. Like he might not be on the take, but he's just gonna be a crappy employee.
Oh man, what does that say about us though, right? That just like sooner or later dinosaurs are gonna be invented, sooner or later someone's gonna mess it up. And it's gonna be because we're greedy or because we're lazy or because we're something, you know? It's gonna be us sooner or later.
Well, I think that was the point, right? Like, Nedry is not the person who messes everything up. Nedry is the concept of a lazy person. Or a bad person. Any person.
A person.
Yeah, a person.
Like the
So
reason is making
we watched the movie and we're like, oh, I relate to Grant. I want to be Grant. I want to be Sadler. Or we're younger and we think we identify ourselves with the children characters. I don't think anyone identifies with the lawyer, but the movie's saying we're really Nedry. You identify with Gennaro? In this film?
I mean,
that's your ride along for this?
That's not. I was very upset with his representation.
No, I'm not. No, not at all. No, he's not. He gets, you know, he's in awe of the potential, and you know, he wants to make his clients money. He wants to do a good job. It's not him maybe being rich
he's
himself.
He's one of the few like truly sensible people because he's walking into this going like, okay, I'm going to an island full of like giant things that want to eat me. This is gonna suck.
Yeah.
And then he goes and
this is dangerous. I'm telling you.
Then he sees some things. He's like, okay, I can see where this is kind of dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, shit, I'm on an island full of that. This is kind of awesome. And then it's not awesome anymore.
And then, oh no, it's scary. I'm gonna run away. And I feel like most of us maybe would run away because you wouldn't have known the T-Rex vision thing.
But you wouldn't run into the toilet.
Yes, you would.
I don't know.
Why?
Because it's a place when you gotta go, you
But
gotta
it's a
go.
porta potty.
A lot of great people have died in the bathroom. Okay, all right. One mic. You would like to go? Go ahead. Would you go ahead? You? Okay.
I think he's just agreeing.
No, I had something.
I mean, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Very true. Very true. Ideas based on some of the things I've heard, like the creator of this technology, the person who starts it has to take some kind of responsibility, but also humanity is deeply flawed, and that's a problem too, with all these leaps and bounds and the limitless potential of technology. Like where may be the real monster in Jurassic Park?
There's also a part.
Man, yeah, I know.
There's also a part in Jurassic World where like they start going on rides and there's this like maybe 20-year-old guy and he's like just there for like a summer job, and so he sends people on the ride and then like a red like code red goes on, and so he picks up the phone and he's like, okay, everybody have to shut the ride down, and then everybody like starts yelling. It's like, oh, I've been waiting in this line for 2 hours, and it's like, guys, I'm just an intern. So there's gonna be at least one person who's gonna be like that just an intern, I'm only here for the summer kind of person, because is gonna get promoted, not gonna know what to do, hit the wrong button, and it's gonna go all bad.
No, I like that.
Though, Nedry knew what he was doing.
Nedry did know what he was doing.
That's the difference, is that, you know, he was smart, and he had the power that he could have made a choice, and he chose wrong. So I think that's the danger in it.
And they knew they needed him. So
we're doing our show right now. By the
yeah,
way.
we're doing.
We just do it. We put a camera behind me and we'll do it.
Yeah, they knew he needed him, and it just shows man's arrogance in life. Period. In general, with Hammond, like he creates what he should have done. Obviously, is the Sadler, Grant, Malcolm talk before all of this to get that type of advice. Maybe he could tweak some things, but no, his arrogance, his money, and his vision. Man's also big vision, big picture for something, got in the way of all the logistics of what the park is all about. So that's also a big flaw.
Okay, yeah, very true.
In the character.
That is interesting. He didn't bring in the scientist until he had a lawsuit on his hand.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have made a difference though,
Yeah.
because I feel like
If that guy didn't die,
Yeah. That's what that's the inciting incident. That accident prompts all of this.
yeah.
I forgot about that.
I didn't realize that.
Hammond scares me.
The guy died at the beginning.
Yeah.
In the very beginning.
Raptors pulled him
And we don't see the raptor, we just get a shot of the eye and like bushes moving.
The lawyer's there because he's from the insurance company.
No,
They
yeah.
won't insure the park, so they need outside experts.
Yeah.
They have inside experts. They have
Yeah.
a whole laboratory full.
We see them.
They just needed outside experts to verify with the insurance company.
Yeah.
The
And
insurance
the
guy,
insiders are like their job depends on it, right?
Right,
But
so
also
they
they
need an
drank the
outside
Kool-Aid of Jurassic Park and they're like, yeah, this is great.
but the insurance lawyer is not doing a very good job because as soon as he sees it, he's like, oh, everything's great here, and he sees like one security guard. He's like, yeah, I'll sign up on this. That's my money. It's not really. Well, I think what happened. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen security around like, one of the factories I went to one time. The security in my office is tighter than the security here. Like I think
Here or Jurassic Park?
at my office,
In New
the
York
security
City.
is tighter than the security that they were using.
Oh
in the
yeah,
password
I
of
believe
my-
that.
Yeah.
This is a multi-billion-dollar park. So like I think that a lot of it's plot device. I think that it didn't matter how this falls apart. The movie says that no matter what you build, it's going to fall apart because of humans. And that's like there's no. The technical details are to drive a plot. The point is that you should bring a park in the first place because you should bring dinosaurs back because no matter what, it's going to get out of control. So they just need to have a way to get through that.
Okay, okay.
Pessimistic.
And I wanna, in a little bit,
I mean, that's
talking about like what is the way, like might be interesting.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead. You've been
piggybacking
very
on the
patient.
whole- It's okay. Piggybacking on the whole, what one of you guys said about Dennis Nedry, his motives are greed, and if there was if I could compare him to any other, character, and I think this character is very similar. It's Paul what's his name's character in Aliens? Paul
Reiser's character?
Yeah, that's what I thought. R.J. Burke. He wants to get some specimens from the planet where the aliens came from, and he could make quite a fortune. And when when Ripley tries to expose him, because he's kind of responsible for the whole colony going straight to heck and the death of 158 people, he tries to silence Ripley by releasing 2 of the face huggers and getting her. So there are some things that corporate America won't stop doing. I mean, let me rephrase that. They're just the lengths that some companies will go to, or some humans will go to, just to make a quick buck in any sort of in any movie, I guess. There are some lengths that some narrow-minded nerd guy would go to.
Okay,
just
yeah.
to make a little money.
Very true. Money is it's seductive to these characters.
So the essence.
Oh yeah.
So
It's the root of all evil.
that sort of reminds me a bit of books that just became a movie called Mortal Engines. So in it.
It's where the cities are on wheels.
Yeah. So the reason that after
We
there
live in
was
a
this
marvelous
big
time.
war, there was this big nuclear war that went by so fast it happened in 60 minutes, and so afterwards, after the war, there was, as you'd expect after a nuclear war, there was, you couldn't stay, if you stayed in one place for too long, then something bad was bound to happen. So you always had to be on the move, and so after that happened, the cities were created, the emerging cities were created, but then in the time of present day in the books, they don't need the cities to move anymore. It's just out of habit and nobody wanted to stop.
Once the wheel starts rolling, you can't.
Yeah.
Too much effort to stop it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Yeah. Humanity versus technology. Things we brought up. Some things we haven't. It's a real type of conflict. Postmodernism. You know, like in terms of a way of looking at things. But humanity versus technology is a real source in fiction, but also everyday lives. I love GIFs. Is it GIFs or GIFs? What did we decide? Has the world decided? All right, no, let's not start something then. Never mind. I like moving images. Our dependence on it, we talked about. The dinosaurs, they're made by technology. I like this one, it's my favorite, the Dino DNA one.
Yeah, it looks funny.
All right, we've talked a little bit about control versus chaos. In the first scene, we're gonna see Malcolm explain it. In the second scene, Hammond explains it. It's called flirting. So let's take a look at that.
Oh, for you, that's reality.
So I show this clip as probably our final clip of the evening, simply because it seems to fall in line with, like, I heard from a lot of people that the chaos seems to be the driving, winning force in the movie. Yeah.
There's also like the entire precedent that they like set where, I mean, if you've seen Bird Box, it's the entire point of the unknown that is supposed to scare you. Like, they don't show the actual things that are supposed to be scaring you until like 3/4 of the way through the movie.
Do they show them in Bird Box though?
No, they never show
See, and I think that's why, like, in my mind, Bird Box fails a little bit, because you have to show it at some point.
It's a little, no, you know what's
No? What do you guys think?
What's a better example? A Quiet Place.
Yeah?
A Quiet Place is a better example, because for like about half of the movie they don't show anything and you just listen to rustling in the leaves and all that stuff and like big like footsteps and all that stuff, and you hear it and you can see a little bit of rustling and stuff, but you can't put a face to it. So you don't know what's happening. It's the entire point of the unknown that makes your mind race.
That's the Spielberg way.
And I'm not saying Bird Box, like, I didn't like it. I'm not saying that. What I mean is, like, I think the Spielberg way is eventually you have to show Jaws. Eventually you have to show T-Rex and the Raptor. And I don't know if I can let a movie get away with not showing it to me. But maybe that is scary, or maybe you don't need to see it.
Technically, with Bird Box, it's more of that Lovecraftian cosmic horror, which is kind of unnameable, unshowable, unfaceable. You're not supposed to understand. If you see it, you can start to understand what, you start to like, see certain things. You can beat it. You can like be scared of it, or maybe you're not scared of it.
Maybe the entire point of it is that like once you do see it, it's like it's so hard to comprehend that you go mad. And that's like the driving force behind
that fits
like,
with
the Bird
that,
Box
That's Lovecraft
theory. And so like they can't really show it because that would put a face to it and that would kind of ruin the entire thing. Because that would mean that each time they show it, they would have to show a different thing, because it's like says in the movie that like to each person they see a different like face or different like creature, and it's just supposed to overwhelm you so much that your mind just turns to mush.
Yeah.
With these, it's the fear of the unknown, that you don't know what's happening, but you know it's going to be bad. And so it's going to eventually drive you mad, and then it does show you what it is. And that's what makes you go nuts.
Okay, that's cool. I also think, what is it, The Mist? That's kind of Lovecraftian
Yes,
also. They don't really show you them either. You see them kind of at the end, maybe? Yes, but please, I'm going to catch us up with the slides just for a second, because we've talked about all of this.
Can I just say,
back to that?
To counterpoint on what you said, and like the ideas of like the ultimate evil being like unseeable, unknowable, I feel like this movie does the exact opposite. In that they spend a lot of time telling you what a raptor is, and like, you know what I'm saying, like if the raptor is the ultimate bad in this, right? Like they spend a lot of time going, they're pack hunters, they're fast, they've got claws that'll rip you to shreds, and then ultimately they give you every single part of that.
Yeah.
They're just like, yes, they are as advertised.
It's the gun on the wall,
They're like basketball players with claws and teeth. And they're going to murder you. Like, it's a 6'8" thing that it just spends all of its time figuring out how to find stuff to kill and eat and repeat.
Yeah.
And then they
That would
open
make a great
doors.
t-shirt. That would make a great
They gave
t-shirt.
OJ a long nose.
Raptors and Raptors jerseys?
Short exists. What you were saying, like, they actually the first scene of the movie is
I don't know
where
what
he's
the
with
next
the
thing
kids
is.
and he's trying to scare them about how raptors hunt. And that's exactly how the hunter dies at the end. In the exact way he described it in the first scene. So
they
it's
flank
literally
them.
the arc of the movie. The
It's
bad
like
guys
they're
in the
gonna
movie
they're
are-
gonna flank you, they're gonna outsmart you, and it's just you're just gonna like feel really helpless, and then they do exactly that.
And they open doors.
And they
does that make dinosaurs the bad guy in the movie or chaos theory? Because I mean it's a movie about dinosaurs.
Or does it
And
make
it
the
made $1
people
billion.
themselves that make the mistakes?
Well, yeah. Who's the? I mean, like, what's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? Like, what's
it's
what
not
can
really
we take away from this at the end? Yeah.
Doing what they
Dinosaurs,
do
it's just
best.
natural
Yeah.
They can't help themselves because that's what they're naturally supposed to do.
Mhm.
So,
Nature.
yeah, like it's
their
the
nature.
control versus chaos.
Yeah.
Like, humans believe that they can control it, but at the end of the day, they're chaotic. They're not supposed to be controlled.
Like,
Right.
I have a dog who's like almost pure blood German Shepherd. Never been around any farm animals or anything.
Mhm.
But so we went to Massachusetts to one of our friends' house and we brought the dog, and there was a cattle rack. There was like a little pasture, and there were cattle there. And what he does is when we let him off the leash, he goes straight in there and he gets down, he gets low, he starts herding them into a circle, and it's just natural instinct. By that point, they don't even know what they're doing. They're just like, well, it feels like this is what I should be doing.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. That instinct, that nature, life finding a way. We are at 5 minutes remaining. You want final thoughts, conclusions? What can we do? Can we do anything?
Say that Aiden, that is what is known as doggy DNA.
Doggy DNA. Very true. Very true. Thank you.
I like to.
This is how the movie ends. Yes.
The children are the future. So you pass by that slide, and they're representing the future, and like the girl knows how to, hack into this system. Right? Was anyone not baffled and amazed? And congratulations.
It was a Unix system. You couldn't do that. Wait. Better question. Are you guys like hackers?
No.
You tell us. We're cool adults. No? Okay.
We might need
Yeah,
to
it makes the claim that like all the little kids, the future generation is gonna be more equipped to handle the technology than we are. We need to wait and take the time and develop it because what comes later is gonna know how to use it maybe better. We need to teach them the ethics, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it kind of plays really well that it's his grandkids too, because he's kind of creating this thing with a sense of wonder for like future generations to see this stuff and to admire all this, but in the end it's like this is what he left his
His legacy,
grandkids,
yeah.
His legacy is this.
And you gotta remember, there's no clear conclusion.
Yeah.
Because we have the Lost World, where now Hammond has gone crazy, even bigger.
He's
Whole island,
Howard Hughes,
right? He's the Howard-
but also a conservationist now.
There was more. Yeah, there's more.
Yeah.
I mean, so there is really no. We just see the. I guess I can call it slight madness in this scientist's mind, like this mad genius's mind, to kind of continue on, because it's got to work, because I know it's going to work, and this is how it's got to be. So there's really no conclusion.
Well, it's interesting because the second one kind of plays with a slightly different theme, where it's just more of like our place in the rest of like nature and stuff like that, and leaving them alone on this island and not interfering with them. And I think this is more of the technology kind of,
The movie's been telling us that for like 25 years now. Like Jeff Goldblum's character alone, right? He says it in Lost World, Fallen Kingdom, right? Same thing.
Jurassic
World.
Jurassic World. I'm sorry. Thank you. Yeah. No, not at all. Thanks.
Let me just say that Hammond is if Dumbledore came into present day,
Cut off his wheel.
a little bit trimmed, and said, like,
No,
I don't want a wizard anymore. I want to be, like, I mean, if you're a headmaster at some kind of castle, you're gonna have money.
Mm-hmm.
He literally comes over here and just says, I'll buy an island, I'll buy scientists, I'll buy everything. Let's put some dinosaurs on this island, and then let's figure out what makes them work.
Maybe he is a wizard.
What?
Who is it?
We don't know that he's not.
Arthur C. Clarke, who wrote 2001 and other science fiction books, said what? Any real advanced technology is going to look like magic, you know, if you were to encounter
It's
it.
indistinguishable.
Yeah, indistinguishable. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I like that. If Dumbledore came here.
Now, those would truly be fantastic.
What would be cool would be dinosaurs. Yeah. Fantastic Beasts. Oh, don't say it. That's maybe the third one. Crossover.
New crossover episode.
But
When people say
everybody
Infinity
kind of
War is the most.
see that parallel where they're like, oh, this actor who plays Hammond
Yeah.
is
Lost World.
related
Fantastic
to
Beasts.
David Attenborough,
Yeah.
who does all the Planet Earth and all those.
He makes that joke when he's doing the talk through the car. He says, "We got Dave. This is the voice of David Attenborough. Spared no expense."
Like brothers?
Yeah, in real life. Yeah.
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 So I kind of want to see show of hands who would go to this island and see the dinosaurs.
Absolutely.
Having seen this movie.
Yeah.
So wait, we're saying the park is open now.
It's open.
And with the risks. With all the risks that could
Like in the
happen.
first,
I
like
would
in the first Jurassic
Yeah, I would
World.
still go.
I guess I'm there. I gotta go.
Okay.
Would you go?
Yeah.
I go.
I mean, I'd go, but like,
So that's
so
first
watch everybody's
What is the what? I'm sorry.
I'll watch your dog.
Say that
and watch
again?
your dog.
Version.
Oh, right.
What are the little dinosaurs or like the stuff that you get to touch? Like that's
No,
what I would
little
do.
dinosaurs. That's what they
The
showed.
little ones that bit the girl, right? In the second movie.
Oh, right. Yes, the
like the ants with
yellow.
the wings.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, like those ants.
Really should be
Yeah, in
close.
Lost World.
Better than the monkeys. Okay, everyone. Well, this sound of uncontrollable chaos as a force of nature brings us to the end. Just for your own reference, this is all the real-life animals that have been cloned as of 2019. Wow.
Soon to be a man.
I think this movie is saying genetic engineering is dangerous. Take your time with it. Don't rush things because you could mess things up and not be able to undo it. End up with an island full of dinosaurs. I don't think this is anything new, anything we don't all kind of see. But I also think that society has movies like this to help give us as a culture a way to reflect and think about how we feel about the increasing dependence we have in the ever-advancing technology that is ingraining itself into our lives every second of every day. I thank you all for being a part of this class. I thank you all for sharing your ideas and listening to each other. Only 3 times did chaos of the humankind take control of our conversation, and only, twice, 3 times did chaos of the technology kind take on? We will be doing this again. You are all more than welcome to come again next month and rejoin us. It'll be the first Friday of April. And a hint, the movie we shall be doing, I say, what if I told you? Next month we should talk about The Matrix.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming. Let's give each other a round of applause. All right, play the exit music. All right, next one. All right.